Jeff, good morning here from the Rio Grande Valley here in Texas. I just wanted to ask you what kind of what kind of process was led to selecting Incarnate Word and being added into the conference?
Well, we followed really the same process we follow with any expansion candidate. My conversations with Incarnate Word date back, I would say roughly 5 or 6 months when I made a visit to campus. But the real activity picked up at the end of September when representatives of the institution came to Denver and gave a presentation to our board of directors on the university, did an excellent job, not only showcasing what, the current status, but also their vision for the future and how they fit into the WAC and the attributes they had. And so that happened at the end of September. And then there was another roughly 4 to 5 week process where our board did its due diligence in evaluating Incarnate Word and evaluating the conference's future. And then when the recent announcement of New Mexico State and Sam Houston State departing in a year and a half to move to Conference USA, we again had to look at our alignment, our football alignment in particular, and felt that when's the time? Well, the time was now, and so for the past week, and it's been a whirlwind of a week, but for the past week we've had several conversations with Incarnate Word and with our board, and ultimately that decision was made during the week and press conference set for today.
McDonald, go ahead.
Jeff, there's a certain fan base right now on Twitter that's not real happy with the addition of Incarnate Word, but what's the feeling around the conference and all the other presidents, athletic directors with the addition of the Cardinals? I mean, they're going to be in 20 sports that the WAC sponsors, so that's going to be huge, and getting the San Antonio market. What's kind of the reaction that you've seen from all the other schools around the conference?
Well, we're excited about it. I think most our institutions are excited about it also. It's Incarnate Word's a good fit and fits the pattern. If Kyle, and you're familiar with the WAC's recent history, fits a similar pattern, and it's only been Division I for a limited period of time. It's a growing program in a larger city in Texas. It's easy to get in and out of. That's part of it. Part of it is the growth potential. Part of it is the vision, the institution's vision for the future. And so we look at it as this isn't a short-term investment. It's a long-term investment, both for the conference and for the institution. And I can look back to when Grand Canyon came into the conference, when California Baptist came into the conference, as transition institutions from Division II. Dixie State recently, when Tarleton State is transition institutions, and in some corners of fandom, I guess I would say there's always going to be people who are doubters. There are always going to be people who are naysayers, but for the most part, we've had a very positive reaction, and we anticipate that will become even more so as time goes on and as the Incarnate Word program grows even more than it has already, and it becomes entrenched in the WAC as not only just a member, but a competitive member.
Caleb, go ahead.
Commissioner Hurd, you talk about the growth potential for Incarnate Word. Was there anything that the conference wanted from them on y'all's side to show their commitment with improving facilities or anything like that? I know their basketball facility is not the best. Football's kind of smaller. Is there anything that y'all put on them to make sure that they do stick to their end of the bargain?
Well, when they gave their presentation to the conference, they came with a plan for athletics and for athletic growth, and the amount of money that's going to be put into it, and what their master plan was, and went through it in great detail. Following that, we did follow up with them, and we gave them some additional criteria that we would like to have them answer to, in which they did. And we were satisfied. When I say we, the board was satisfied with their presentation, with their vision and their commitment to building their facilities further out, their commitment to bringing more fans to games, and their commitment to growing a program. You know, these kind of things, I think everybody knows, they don't happen overnight. But Incarnate Word has come a long way just in a relatively short period of time. And I think that growth will continue. And, you know, 5 years from now, let's look back and say, okay, you know, where are they now today as a quote compared to where they were 5 years ago? And I think we'll all look at it and say, you know, that was a really good choice.
Ray, go ahead.
Yes, Jeff, I just wanted to get a comment on your behalf on UTRGV adding football, although you'll be exiting as WAC commissioner, but I just wanted to get your overall thoughts.
Well, I was thrilled with it, and I've known about it for a while. I knew about the plans and knew about all the steps that had to be taken to make it a reality, and have a lot of confidence in Guy Bailey as the president there, and Chase Conk as the athletic director, and his staff. And it's a great community. It's a great area, and I think it's ripe to have college football. And really thrilled that UTRGV added it, because it was a factor as I date back a year ago again when we added the schools that we added, and we brought football back to the WAC. The fact that we knew that, although there were no guarantees at the time, we knew that UTRGV was looking seriously into adding a program. So that was a factor in it. Again, Texas footprint, Texas football, WAC football. I think it's a great choice. It's a great opportunity for the region, for the institution, and I think the fans there will love it once it gets going.
You talked a little bit about, you know, there's always going to be naysayers that question a move. What would you say to the fans of the 4 or the 3 remaining Texas schools that are going to be left, you know, that say we left the South and we weren't happy with Incarnate Word? What would you say to those fans with bringing a school in that a lot of them have animosity towards?
Well, what I would say is let's not overreact, and let's not be too judgmental in a short period of time. Let's let this play out. Incarnate Word has made commitments to the conference. Incarnate Word has a great vision for the university, has a great leadership in the president's office, has a great athletic director, and you know, let's let the things develop. Let them grow their program, and you know, don't focus on the past. Focus on the future. That's what I would say for the fans.
I'll go ahead.
Jeff, you talked about, you know, you're always kind of looking at your options and so forth and so on. This isn't, maybe clarify for everybody that may listen to this later on. This isn't a reaction to the Sam Houston, New Mexico State news, is it? I mean, it was kind of, there's always change going on, so you have to pay attention to that and see what your options are. And Incarnate Word's kind of been an option all along. Is that correct? Am I correct in that thinking?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's you're right, and the Incarnate Word has been an institution that we've been looking at for a while. This didn't happen in the last week or two. I visited campuses, I said, remember sometime in early summer, and so you know, we've been monitoring that and had been communication with the institution. I think the move of Sam Houston did highlight the fact that we lost an FCS football playing institution, and one of our goals and immediate goals is to have an automatic qualification to the FCS football playoffs. So we needed to replace that institution, whether it was Sam Houston or anybody else. That's part of it, but it wasn't the deciding factor by any means. It was just part of it.
Okay, Commissioner Hurd, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chris.